The Entrepreneur's Library, episode 235.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Library, the only book-centric podcast that reviews all the top-selling business books and shares authors' perspective firsthand. This is your resource to finding the next great book that will enable you to grow personally and professionally. Welcome your host, Wade Danielson.
Welcome back to the EL. Today we have, this woman has a fantastic story. And she talks about it throughout when she's explaining her book. But her name is Michelle Mone, and she's the author of My Fight to the Top. Welcome, Michelle, and thank you for joining us on the Entrepreneur's Library.
Hi, thank you for having me in this gorgeous, beautiful day in London.
Excellent. I'm coming from Fort Worth, and I don't think if you live here in Texas, you haven't seen the sun in a couple of weeks now. So thanks for that. At least someone else is getting some sun.
That's okay. I've heard about all the bad rain.
Yes, yeah, it's been crazy. But Michelle, let's jump right in. I want people to have a chance to meet you before we talk about your book. So before we do jump into My Fight to the Top, will you take just a moment to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you personally.
Yeah, sure. My name's Michelle Mone, and I founded Ultimo 17 years ago, and it's now one of the biggest lingerie brands in the country, in the UK. I started off with nothing, and now, I do really well in the UK and just got awarded an OBE from the Queen. And I've recently launched my autobiography, My Fight to the Top, and it's available on Amazon, and it's gone to #1, which is incredible. And it's just a story of my life and how I've managed to build up 9 brands in my career and all the trials and tribulations of my career.
That is excellent. So first off, thank you for sharing that. And now let's jump right into the book that you were just talking about, My Fight to the Top, which was made available for purchase back in March of 2015. And Michelle, we're going to move fairly quickly, but our whole goal here today is to cover those top questions that our listener and future reader have before they pick up a book. So maybe they found your book on Amazon or Google or social media, and now they've come back to this podcast to listen to see if your book is their next great read. So the first question I have for you today is, what was the inspiration behind writing My Fight to the Top?
Well, I've been offered book deals for the last 6 years, and I really felt that it wasn't the right time to write the book at that time. And I decided that I wanted to do an autobiography that really told the inside information to an entrepreneur's life. Instead of it being all very much business, business really affects your personal life in a big, big way. And I wanted to show people how that's affected my life and how some of the business decisions have affected my decisions, from being very, very personal for the first time ever. And I think that people really appreciate that because they're going through hard times as well. And it's all the hard times and how you remain positive and how you remain focused and determined and how you turn those situations around from being in business and turning the company around to fighting through a very public, horrible divorce where my husband went off with one of my head designers, which is fine now. But I went through 2 really tough years of drinking heavily and really the worst time of my life, but how I've managed to turn that around, lose 96 pounds in weight and get fit and be positive, because at the end of the day, you only live once. And so why not live it being happy?
Yeah, absolutely. What an excellent story. I know that's something that people love, is to hear more of a story tied to that. So thank you for sharing the inspiration behind that. And what would you say, the reason why we ask this next question is there's just so many books that come out on a daily basis. And so it's hard. It's kind of a needle in a haystack as far as finding those great books. So what makes your book different from others regarding the same or similar topic?
I would say it's very personal. And it shows how I've managed to get £1 billion in PR in the last 10 years, and how you can make a brand and how you can get through all these hard times in your life and how you can get into the zone in business and be happy and not be miserable in life. And at the end of the day, we all think that we have big, big challenges, but as long as you can feed your children then really, is it a big challenge? It's just business. And you've just got to deal with it in a business productive way.
Excellent, Michelle. And this is kind of an awkward question, but how did you write the book to be read by the reader? Is this a book that they can jump in, jump out, grabbing information as needed? Or did you really design it to be read from front to back?
There are chapters where they're specific to PR and marketing and everything else. So you can go back to those chapters and cherry pick, but to get the whole overview of the story, it's much better if you just, read it from start to finish.
Very good. So, Michelle, we're to my favorite question. It's actually the meat and potatoes of the entire interview. And this is where I want to hand over the mic to you for really the next 5 to 8 minutes. And I won't interrupt, but I would like for you to be able to give that future reader a great idea of what your book's all about. So again, will you take the next 5+ minutes and take us through your book?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it has my whole childhood and how I started a business when I was 10 years old, and how I was, brought up in the hard East End of Glasgow, which is incredible people, but it's pretty tough. And I started my first business when I was 10 years old as a paper round, and when I was 11, I had 17 teenagers working for me. And then I went on to working in a fruit shop and a sweetie shop, and just basically fighting my way to be successful. And then, when I was 10, my brother died, which was devastating. And when I was 15, my careers teacher said to me, "What do you want to do at school?" And I told her I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And she says, "That will never be you because you're dyslexic." And I had the feeling that it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what education you manage to get. As long as you've got that drive and can-do attitude, you can achieve anything you want to achieve within reason. My father woke up and was paralysed at the age of 38 when I was 15, and has decided to leave school. No qualifications. And then when I did a bit of modelling, and then I met my husband, now ex-husband, when I was 17. And I started off working in Labatt's, the beer company, when I was 19, being an admin girl. And I always set myself a goal that what I want to achieve every day in both my personal life and both my business life. And I set myself a goal that I wanted to be running the whole of Labatt's within 3 years in Scotland. And I did that within 18 months. And then at the age of 24, unfortunately, I got made redundant. And they sold out to Whitbread UK, Labatt's did. And I went to a dinner dance wearing a very uncomfortable cleavage bra. And I thought, why should women go through all this pain for a tiny bit of gain? And that's when I decided to invent Ultimo. 3 years of my life inventing it. It was the first world gel-filled bra. I launched it in Selfridges 3.5 years later, £480,000 in debt. All the trials and tribulations of inventing a product are in the book. And then it launched with a bang, one of the most successful lingerie launches in the UK. And then Julia Roberts wore it in Erin Brockovich, the movie, launched all over the world, built 9 brands, all the putting on, 96 pounds in weight because of the stress of the business. And quite an abusive relationship I went through because my husband worked in the company as well. But I just got on with it and just put up with it and to grow the brand and look after my kids. OB from the Queen and lots of other incredible awards and an incredible team at Ultimo. Then I found out about the affair, battled with my husband through buying him out, managed to buy him out. Then I got new partners, sold 49%, and then I've just sold 80%. And now what I do is I go around the world mentoring people. And if people want to visit my website, it's Michelle Mone, MONE.com. And I love that. I mentor over 105 people, launched my book, went to number 1 on Amazon, started up another 6 businesses. And I just love mentoring people and giving something back. So that's my new life now.
That's excellent, Michelle. And you did a fantastic job of just taking us through your book. And I guess this next question is really, not that you didn't just put it in a nutshell, but to take it down even a step further. And what we're asking here is, if the reader could only take away one concept or principle or action item out of your entire book and everything you just discussed with us, what would you personally want that to be?
I would want it to be that have faith, get into the zone, and we all have our ups and downs. We all have our good days and our bad days. But, just stick in there and be focused and have confidence and never give up. Because if you do that, you'll do really well and you will make it in the end.
That is absolutely excellent. And that was quote worthy right there, which actually leads to our next question, which is, do you have a favorite quote from your book? Something that you wrote that you feel like will resonate with the audience, or maybe it already has resonated with the audience. But and then will you take a minute to explain what that quote means to you?
Yeah, I would say that you should work hard, you should play hard, and you should always give something back. And if you do those three things, I try and do those three things every day. You'll feel good when you put your head down. Go to bed satisfied, wake up determined, and the world is out there. So do your very best each day. And people don't want to be surrounded by negative people. They want to be surrounded by positive people. And don't ever think that your problems are bigger than anyone else's, because really they're not.
That is excellent. What a huge takeaway. And Michelle, we'll put that in the show notes at the elpodcast.com so people can go back and reflect more on that. And Michelle, we're going to step away from your book for just a second, but this next question I'm asking, if there was only one book you could recommend, and it does not have to be business, it can be any book, nonfiction or fiction, but if there's only one that you could recommend to our listeners based on the way that it's impacted your life, maybe created a paradigm shift or a lifestyle shift for you, which book would you suggest?
Oh, there's many I would suggest, but there's a book called, I can't remember, I didn't write it down actually, but The Power of the Mind, or Mind, I can't remember what it's called. I'll get you the name of it, but it is an incredible book, and it teaches you how to basically be positive and get into the zone. I'm looking for it just now on my iPhone. Sorry, I didn't have that prepared. But I find that was a good book for me as well. It gave me lots of inspiration.
Excellent. No, that is fantastic. I don't think we've had that one suggested before, so it's always nice to get a new book. And
yeah,
Michelle, before
trying to find it.
You said it's hard to find it?
I'm trying to find it just now. Yeah. Anyway, if I find it, I'll tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put it in the show notes that people can go back and reflect on it or look it up. But Michelle, before we depart, can you recommend the best way for our listeners to not only get more information on you, but to also get more information on your new book, My Fight to the Top?
Well, I've just recently launched a company called UTAN, a U as in umbrella, utan.com, which is in all the Boots pharmacy stores. It's a tanning product that we've invented that has no smell or streaks or horrible orange look. So that tanning product has launched throughout the country. And I would say that's an incredible company I've just started. And michellemone.com or Ultimo, which is ultimo.co.uk. But probably michellemone.com is where you find me. And on Twitter, I'm just Michelle Mone. And I love Twitter. It's incredible just connecting with so many people. And the book that I have found, it's called The Mind Management by Dr. Steve Peters. And that's been a great book for me.
Very good. Well, and thank you for finding that.
At least I found it for you. That was good.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you. And yeah, now I'm positive. Yeah, we actually haven't had that one. So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to get the title. And Michelle, more than anything, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your book with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again for listening in today. If you would like more information on Michelle or her book, My Fight to the Top, Check out the show notes at the elpodcast.com.
Looking for your next book idea? Head over to the elpodcast.com, where Wade shares his amazing resource, the top 10 business books recommended by over 500 entrepreneurs, with you for free. That's the elpodcast.com. Till the next time, keep it on the EL.